Hello everybody, welcome to Deluxe Collectibles, and today I'm going to be going through some LEGO Ninjago concept art from Season 5 Possession, and this is coming from the Ninjago Archive Twitter page, so I'll be sure to link them down below. And I have gone over some Possession concept art previously as well in a separate video from a while ago, so I'll be sure to link that at the end of this video so you can check that out if you're interested in seeing some more. And that stuff is fully colored as well, because this concept art, I am letting you know, is all uncolored here, so it's just very concept stage, of course, hence concept art, but it's definitely still worth mentioning, and I thought could kind of just be a fun thing to sort of look at. I love seeing designs like this because it's sometimes things that we might never end up seeing in the actual series, because of course there may be difficulties with working it into the story and also making it into physical figures as well, so I like to talk about the feasibility of that as well. But we're going to go through each design here, and the first one that we have seems to be like a character that's basically missing their torso. You can see the legs and you can see the head, and I'm not sure if that's just a matter of that it's at the concept stage and they didn't end up designing the torso, or if that's an actual part of the character, which I would wager a guess that maybe it is. I think that's really cool, and I love the head on this character here. The legs aren't as special. We've seen that basically in actual Lego figures for the ghost, but I love the head there. I think that the molding on the actual like helmet there with all the horns looks so great. I love the flame atop it as well. I can just imagine the color scheme for this with it being like purple, green. I think that would just look so cool. Of course, your typical sort of ghost colors for Ninjago, but I think it could pull it off so well, and maybe even adding in some red or orange as well with the flame. I think that would be really interesting to see, so I do like that quite a bit, and it definitely has a very demonic sort of expression as well, so that's definitely a super cool touch also, so I do like that quite a bit. And then the next design that we have here is a really cool character with what I'm assuming is going to be 4 heads, because you can see 3 kind of around the front there, but I'm guessing that there might be one in the back as well. But from what we can see, there are 3 that are visible here, and I think they definitely look really great, so I do like those quite a bit. They look kind of like maniacal and menacing there, and I do love in the background there what I'm kind of calling like a summoning circle is kind of what it makes me think of. I think that's really cool, and I'm assuming it might connect to their weapon there, their sort of like staff blade or whatever you would like to dub it, but I think that's definitely really cool and could maybe connect to them like having some ghosts like enter into the Ninjago realm. I think that would be a really interesting concept there, that it kind of just has a portal that it can sort of summon at any point in time, so I think that's definitely super cool, and it just has a really nice looking design. Then the next character here is a super exciting one. It's actually a big figure, which we don't see very often at all in general for Ninjago, so this is really cool. It seems to be a sort of play on a sumo wrestler design, and I think that is such a cool concept. I really do love the way it came out. I think of course it's a bit more of a basic looking design, but I think it pulls it off so well. I really do love the giant sort of like pants there, or shorts, or diaper, whatever you would like to call it. I don't know the technical term, I suppose, for an actual sumo wrestler, but basically they're like gi outfit there. I think that looks really great, so I do like that quite a bit. I love just all of the little details there. I think their weapon's really great as well, so that's super cool, and I'd be curious what color scheme this would be, and would it kind of be a fully translucent body, because of course it kind of looks like it's taking on a possessed sort of ghost form, so that would be really cool to know as well, because I think that would be just such an epic looking piece. And then the next one that we have here is actually another like multi-headed sort of creature, but it kind of gives me vibes of like a clay face sort of looking creature, because it seems like heads are just growing out like in random spots and have like blades attached to some of them, so I do like the randomness of this, and that's why I can sort of guess with a few of these with their more out there designs that that's probably why they didn't wind up going through with them, because of course for most designs in the actual series, of course you want to be able to have physical figures for them. There are some exceptions at times, but of course with things like this they're definitely taking on more of a minifigure look, but it was probably just going to be hard to be able to accomplish it molding wise for some of these designs, as I'm sure you can tell. So I do like this one though. I think it's definitely got a cool sort of look to it, so I like that quite a bit. And then the next one here, and the final one on this first page here, seems to be almost like a sort of like warrior looking design. Kind of makes me think of like a samurai or something like that, so I do like that, kind of channeling like very traditional sorts of designs with all of these figures here, or characters I suppose. But I do like this one quite a bit. I think the sword is really cool. I love the two flags behind them as well. I think that's really great. I'm wondering how those would have attached if they were like on the shoulder pieces there. It's definitely more of a look that they would really have to work out in a physical sort of aspect for an actual minifigure with some pieces that might have had to have been introduced, but I do like this one quite a bit. I love the helmet, of course, as well. So that looks really great, and that's it for the first page. Then the second page of designs that we have here picks up with the first one here that seems to almost be a sort of like ninja looking design. At least that's what I'm thinking of it as. And I think this looks really great. I do love the weaponry there. It kind of almost looks like these little like chain and like blade that it has there that almost looks in the shape of like a flame. And even their hair there kind of reminds me of something like almost similar to sort of like, because it seems like it has a headband around it, to kind of like MK's like headband and hair combo from Monkey Kid. So I do like that quite a bit. I think that's kind of cool, and of course sort of ahead of its time at that point, of course, with possession. So I think that's really cool and unique, so I do like that design quite a bit. And then if we move over right here, we just have two kind of random sort of creatures. I'll cover both of them here at the same time. It's sort of like a ghost and then like a head just sort of floating around, so I do think that's quite cool. I think those are definitely interesting ones for sure. And then the next one here sort of looks similar to the first one that we went over in a little bit of an aspect, but it's definitely different in its own sort of way. And I do like the sort of bottom part of the torso there, sort of cool piece being used there. The cape definitely looks really unique with just a few strands behind it, so I think that's definitely an interesting aspect as well. Then the next one here definitely has a super great looking like armor piece that's kind of similar to what I believe they sort of used on the version of Moro that's kind of possessing Lloyd. I think it kind of reminds me of that a little bit, so I do like that. It's definitely quite cool. And then the one below it looks to be sort of like a Reaper, so I think that's really cool. I love the double-sided blade there. I like how this is kind of going for more of a not like minifigure style, but more of like almost like how they build the skeleton figures. So I think that's kind of cool, using different sorts of joints there and pieces as well. So it definitely makes it look a bit more lean and a bit more like a skeleton sort of look. So that definitely channels more of a deadly like ghost sort of look. So I do like that. And then the next two right here, we'll cover these two together. It almost kind of looks like this one might have a pet, at least where the placement is here, that the one below it is sort of almost like, I'm not sure if it's like a dog or something, or just a standard sort of ghost like companion, but it's definitely quite cool. And then the other ghost above it just looks like more of a generic looking one, but still has a cool sort of design, so I do like that one as well. And then the next one here, kind of similar to some of the others as well, but I love the like skeletal body here. I like it when they channel that into the design, because it definitely gives it more of a dead look to it and just makes it even creepier, so I like how it's upping that factor as well. And then the final one here kind of seems like maybe like a mage or like a little like elf person, goblin maybe. Actually, that could probably be what it's kind of channeling, because of course with the big ears there coming out of the hood that it's wearing there. And I love how the hood's kind of turning into a flame. You can tell they really like the sort of like flame looking heads in these concept designs, which I love as well. I think they definitely look super cool, kind of give me vibes of like Ghost Rider in a sort of way, so I do like that quite a bit. And this one definitely looks really mischievous, so would have been interesting to see that. Maybe they channeled a little bit of that into the Geckles designs, of course, from the Master of the Mountain season, so that would be kind of cool. It's always interesting looking back at concept art like this and then kind of trying to see where maybe they implemented some of the techniques that they were trying to use for possession, but then maybe implementing it into something later on for Ninjago once they had the resources to be able to make it happen. So I really like looking back at that stuff for that sort of aspect as well. But that's about everything I have to say for the concept art here. I hope you did enjoy the video. Let me know your thoughts on all of these down below, and also be sure to check out the Ninjago archive Twitter page if you want to see some other cool Ninjago stuff as well. I know I'm going to be checking out some of their other stuff as well that they post, so be sure to look at their page. But also, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, also subscribe as well. It's highly appreciated. So thank you so much. I will see you all next time, and always remember, keep on collecting.